He does. I'm so good like you. I feel like I'm just so busy and they need to clone me. I can't do everything. Not so many. My son had 103 3 temperature yesterday, but he's down because I works my magic. It's down. He's fine now. He's okay. It just, he typically he when he's around other little kids, I swear he always gets something. And and I'm just like, because 'cause they're always sick, and so I just told him, "You gotta start taking your greens, you've been slacking on that," but I nursed him around the clock, like, just, it's this, clock, and now he woke up, he's okay now, so he's just resting and chilling, but
Okay,
I'm
very good.
exhausted, needless to say the least, right?
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, well, they couldn't hear any of that conversation, but that's okay. We are back, and we are back, and we are better than ever. So let me start over again. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharpe, and welcome now to the second edition of I don't know what I'm going to call this particular podcast. I think I want to call it Honest Hot Girls. I think I might want to call it Does Size Matter? Maybe something viral, maybe something viral like the hard R. I actually thought about doing that for a little while, so we'll see what happens. What this podcast series, gentlemen, is designed to do is to we want real, honest, candid information from attractive women. That's how this goes. Listen, there are so many other podcasts out there who dunk on women. And listen, I helped create one of those podcasts. I helped create Fresh and Fit. Totally support what they do. Women need to be fucking dunked on. Not here. That's not what I do here. I'm not Myron Gaines. I'm not Michael Sartain. And Michael Sartain doesn't really do the dunk on women thing. But if you have questions, or comments for the guest, make sure they're respectful. If anybody puts in the comments she's a 304 or she's broken, guys, I'm gonna time you out. It's not that kind of party here. It is absolutely not that kind of party here. We want this to be a respectful and productive conversation so that, number one, you get the information you need moving forward, and number two, so that our guests will come back. So before we get started, Janelle, you actually have just released a book. It is on the screen. It is called Unfuck Your Sex Life: Unleashing Your Passionate, Intimate Relationship. Give me sort of the Reader's Digest version on on why you wrote this book and what it's about.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Donovan.
Of course.
I just love being on with you anytime. You're just the real one. You keep it real, and
Appreciate it.
really want to help your audience, and I love that. And that's why I wrote the book.
Okay.
I think that there's been so many misconceptions with what's going on, like in the podcasting world with, Fresh and Fit, Michael Star, all these things. And I think a lot of it is really good information. A lot of it, yeah, is just for clicks, right?
Sure.
But they're at the underlining issue of this movement kind of taking off in the last year. You realize that there's something that's not working.
Right.
In the relationship dynamic.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not working. If it was, we wouldn't have all these damn podcasts about it, all these
right.
things, all these women getting roasted, all these, men hating feminists. Like, it just wouldn't exist if things were working. And so I saw a great opportunity to take my knowledge, which is a very, spiritual esoteric practice, but put it into a modern day approach to what men and women don't really know about the opposite sex in regards to sex, in regards to sexual anatomy, in regards to pleasure potential, in regards to, orgasmic potential, in regards to how to maintain the sexual polarity, because we know that relationships don't end for lack of love. They end for lack of sexual polarity. When that's gone, then it's over. You can love your wife and not want to fuck her, right?
That's true. Very true.
I guess, but right. And so that's why I wrote the book, because these principles, it wasn't about like, because people say, well, you're not married. I'm like, no, I'm not married, but I don't have to be married to understand the principles, and understand how patterns in relationships work, and understand the sexual energy dynamic.
Okay.
Like, this is like metaphysical principles,
but
I just dumbed it down and made it make sense. So we go through the book. We talk about where does where does all the sexual problems start? And I think it starts with shame. I think that most sexual problems in relationship start with sexual shame.
Okay.
Why is that? No one ever taught us about sex.
They tried.
Well, in school, but that was that more fear mongering, right?
Yeah, probably.
In religion, they teach you not to do it and that you'll go to hell if you do.
Right.
And then your parents, unless I'm your mom, don't say shit. Or they say some weird, here, use condoms. Or one of my colleagues, they threw a Playboy magazine at him. Like, they don't tell you anything.
Right.
And then you go into the world and you're supposed to figure this shit out.
Yes, right.
And so then you're like, well, what do I do? Do I listen to this? Do I listen to that? Mm-hmm. And so everything that I teach comes from, if you're a geek, if you're a nerd, you'll like it. It's from a metaphysical standpoint.
Okay.
Where it makes sense. It's going to like A plus B, or sorry, 1 + 1 = 2.
Sure.
You know, like it's that kind of logic, even though it's a metaphysical practice.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's what we do. So the book is actually, it's not just like let me read this. It's an interactive book. It has pictures and diagrams and, you know,
illustrations.
Use like and say, okay, well, this is my anatomy. I never even knew my anatomy worked this way.
Okay.
You know, like I didn't know that women could have 11 forms of orgasm. I didn't know that men could have full body orgasm. Like I didn't know this was a thing. And then I give you the rule book on how to get there. Good stuff. Listen,
the book is out on Amazon now. So guys, be sure to go pick it up. I put the link in the description. So Janelle, before we get into the nitty-gritty with the questions about dating, sex, and relationships, you have how exactly did you find yourself in the world of talking about, because listen, there are many different kinds of influencers. You are clearly you're the type of influencer who focuses on sex. Now, you did spend some time in the industry. I don't want to misquote you, but just sort of talk to me about your journey from when you were, I guess, a civilian to where you are now and how we ended up here.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think you always have to know where you came from to understand where you are and to get a map for where you're going, right? That's why I tell all my clients, like, where are you now? Where were you and where do you want to be? And then I'll help you bridge that gap. If you don't do that, then it doesn't make sense. And for your listeners, it'll make sense. So I think we talk a lot in this community about fatherless daughters, right?
Okay. Yep.
Right? And not being around or not being involved and how that's a detriment. And it is, you know, so I grew up basically in the foster system, did not have a good life, would not wish my life on anyone.
Wow, I didn't know that, Janelle.
Yeah. So I'm a foster kid. I was a ward of the state literally till I was 24, which that's in my second book.
Sure.
And that's a whole nother thing, right? So basically, I was just lost, you know, and I was, you know, I went through a lot of stuff that kids shouldn't go through.
Okay.
Right. No child should have to go through these things at a very, very young age.
Oh, wow.
And so from that, it already kind of fucks you, if you will, right?
Sure.
You're like already marked. And then I was placed into a very well-meaning, extremist, fundamental, like Mormon, but Christian cult, if you will.
Wow.
So very much so, which is why I get which is why I have a hard time with a lot of the religious stuff. Not like people that are like faith-based, like who live what they say, but the whole other thing, because I felt like it was so damaging to me.
Okay.
That sadly, I did enter the armed service because I was looking for options and answers, and a place to belong and family that I never had. And I got injured, sadly, and so I got out.
Oh, no. Good God.
And from there is when I was just looking for something, and that's how I got to Vegas, really.
Okay.
I used to do, you know, little stuff with local photographers, nothing crazy. A low rider stuff when that was all big back in the day. That's aging me.
Low rider. Wow. Low rider magazine.
All that stuff. So shooting that. And then I got connected with this modeling agency in Las Vegas, and I was doing just local convention stuff. Nothing, you know, did a few local print stuff, but nothing high scale, obviously. And then from there, I was just, you know, I was like looking for more, and that's how I got into the exotic dancing entertainment world in Vegas, if you will, and stripping, whatever you want to call it. And sadly enough, my journey didn't end there. Got involved with the right guy. He was a very dangerous guy. He was a pimp, and he, you know, like ran his little game on me. And of course, I bought it because I was just looking for love.
Looking for anything, all right?
I was looking for everything that I didn't grow up with, right?
Okay. Crazy
enough, you can actually look this guy up online. I was able to get away, but it was a long, hard process. And I never turned him in. I was not that strong. But the girls, the group behind me, they did. And it made the Las Vegas papers. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, he did serve time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did. So it was a big thing. So a lot of people try to say, oh, I don't know. Everyone wants to say that people are lying when they're really telling the truth. It's weird, and the people that are lying never get caught. It's so strange to me. It's like, I guess because it seems so like too strange to be real that people think it's a lie.
It's not just that, Janelle. This community has a very, very bad reputation for a lot of very good reasons. And one thing that we are staunchly against here is believe all women. And I got to tell you, and listen, you and I, we've been I think I'm maybe 7 or 8 years older than you are, but we've been around long enough, and we've been mature long enough to know about the advent of the whole hashtag Me Too. That stuff's been going on forever, just now to the forefront. But what I was it's interesting. I was actually talking to Devin about this the other day with the whole Diddy situation. The girls that make these false rape accusations and false domestic violence accusations, they don't realize that they're hurting the real victims. The Diddy victims are the ones. Anytime there's a girl who gets busted for making a false rape accusation or a girl who lies on a guy, okay, it kind of gets swept under the rug and it goes away. But then when you have girls that have legitimate complaints and concerns, they come to communities like these and we're like, no, like we've seen this movie.
What you do, you deserved it.
You deserved it. You know, you put yourself in that situation, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, there are some men out there who do some very bad things and they don't always get caught. Now, all of that being said, that does not mean that we should believe all women, but by the same token, you shouldn't assume that every woman is lying about this sort of thing. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. And it's like, I think this is where it does get tricky dating today, because you really honestly have to be very present and very discerning. And I think a lot of men don't know how to do that. Because they don't even know who they are as a man.
Right. Not only that, they lack the requisite experience as well. They just don't have enough experience with girls.
Yeah, especially the youngins, right? Or the ones who may be like me. I lived a sheltered life. I didn't, like, I grew up in a cult. So even when I was in Vegas in my early 20s, I was like 16 in the clubs, you know, mentally, you know, emotionally. Do you understand? Like,
Sure.
My life was going to church, baking, sewing, playing the piano, singing. I promise you that's what I did and nothing else. I didn't leave the house. That's for sure.
Wow. Okay. So, truly Mormon.
Yes. And even though it wasn't Mormon, it's like fundamental Christian, that same level of
fundamentalist. Gotcha. Okay. The way they run things. Okay. I gotcha.
Yes. Okay. And so I think that when you have this kind of like pulling away from the rest of the world, and you're not like, even in the Bible, it says be in the world, not of it, but you have to also be in it, because if you raise your children to be so sheltered that they know absolutely nothing, when they get out into the real world, they're going to get
screwed.
Eaten.
Yeah, they're screwed.
They're screwed. And that's why I teach my son the way I do. I tell him, hey, this is your penis. No one fucking touches it. Period. The end.
There you go. That's right.
The end. I told him that when he was barely forming words.
Wow.
Because you have to, because he was in a very prestigious preschool, a Christian one, but you don't know. You don't have the luxury of saying, I want to wait till they're older.
Yep.
No, you tell them that's your body, that belongs to you. No one else touches it. You know, you have to.
And in a lot of ways, Christian preschools, the Christian schools are the ones that are the most sexualized because it's low key, right?
And because this is what I talk about. There's so much shame. There's so much shame attached to your sexuality that they have to do it to unsuspecting victims because they're not getting fucked by their wife at home.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, let's get right into it. The $1 million question, Janelle. When it comes, when people, and I'm sure you get emails and messages and DMs all the time about sex, relationships, et cetera, et cetera. The number one question that men ask and what we want to know is, does size matter? So, Janelle Gordon, does size matter?
Well, I think it's interesting that you asked this question, and that you should go to my book, because there's a chapter that really same thing.
Okay.
And if you look it up on your Kindle, I wanted just to say really quick how I got into this work. It'll take 30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely, go ahead.
So basically, after I got out of the life, I went, I just couldn't escape the cycle, and someone helped me and said, listen, Tantra once really saved me when I was going, I had experienced a lot of sexual trauma, and it helps me, and I want to help you because I feel like there's a power within you that you need to help others.
Okay.
So he said, if you find a school, I'll send you. So I looked up a school in Thailand. Mind you, I grew up in Thailand as a missionary's kid. So I just felt like home. So I went to Thailand and I studied for a year. I lived out of 2 suitcases. I didn't work. I did absolutely nothing but study under my gurus, studied a little bit in India.
Okay.
And
oh, wow.
That's how I came to learn these teachings. So
and it's funny, I can see the motif, like I can tell the motif, the aesthetic is very very Indian, very Eastern.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And so then that's how I got into this work. And then ever since then, I was a little nervous at first, like, how do I bring this to the world? And then finally I was like, I'm either going to do it or I'm not, right?
There you go.
How you do anything is how you do everything. And so now I'm here. And so you're right. I do get this question all the time.
And what is your answer?
My answer is size, yes, does in fact matter, but it's not just the size. It's the size and the shape of yourself and of your partner that you're paired with, or your spouse, if you will. So the long and short is that your size does matter, but it only matters in proportion to your spouse or your lover.
Ah, wow. Now, Janelle, I have never, ever, ever thought of it that way. So for example, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", probably on the wrong side of 240 pounds right now. But if I had a girlfriend, or if I had a wife or girlfriend who was 5'9", 180 pounds, my dick would probably be small relative to her size. Whereas if I had a girl who was like a spinner, then yeah, I probably have a pretty big dick. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that reasoning, however, and yes, very logical. However, it doesn't always work like that with the size and the shape of the body, with the genitals. This is a very tricky thing. So I talk about this in my book. This is taken directly from the Kama Sutra, which is a huge aspect of the tantric path. So they didn't believe that if you were, too small, that quote too small, that you were screwed, because a lot of guys feel like that. I'm only, we know that the average guy is around 5-ish.
Sure.
That's the average man, right? But say you're less than that. Say you're 4.
Oh God.
5.
Oh
right?
Jesus Christ! That dude, you just gave me fucking heart palpitations over here. Oh my God! Thank God.
I know, but some guys think it's over. It isn't over.
Okay.
Though. It's literally about finding the anatomy of a woman who matches your size of your lingam, and lingam is a Sanskrit word for penis, and that's what we say. You don't get flagged, and when I'm talking, nothing, because they don't know what lingam is.
No, they don't.
Is vagina, so it's the same thing.
Okay.
So if you're big, though, so basically you have 3 sizes.
Okay.
And you'll see the graph in my book. So there's like a small, medium, and large. Just like, tall or tall, grande, venti.
Put it in Starbucks-ese.
I promise you it's like that. But I know everyone can relate to that. For the Kama Sutra, they used animals. And it's nice for the guys. But when a woman is called an elephant, it's just not nice. So I kind of...
If she's an elephant, she's an elephant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if she's a whale, she's a whale.
And this is in regards to the anatomy, sexual anatomy. So I used fruit. And so basically, you have the small, medium, large fruits. And if you are a small, then you're okay to be with a small yoni or a medium yoni. Right?
Okay.
You're a small guy, if you're a small fruit. Now, if you're a large lingam, then you can be with a large yoni, it sounds terrible, or a medium yoni.
Okay.
But you can't be with a small. It just won't work.
Okay.
So you'll see it in a graph, and you basically never want to cross the diagonal.
Okay.
You just want to go in your lanes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. Janelle, I got to tell you, I have never, dude, I'm 47 years old. I had never considered. And of course, it's obvious because, of course, we're human and we understand what it is. But in the whole does size matter thing, it had never occurred to me that the size of the woman matters just as much as the size of the man. I've never thought of that. Because I'm a man. Listen, I'm a man. I'm insecure about my dick size, right? We're all insecure about our dick size. That's just how it is. And so, but I never considered the fact that, you know, and I've had sex with many girls in my lifetime. Dude, some girls have told me that I'm trash in bed. Some girls have told me I'm a sex god. I'm probably somewhere in between. Who knows? As far as Devin is concerned, I mean, listen, maybe she likes the way I fuck her, maybe she doesn't. She lets me, so I guess I'm not terrible, right? That's just the way I see it.
You're winning, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so, but I never considered her size being as important as your size when it comes to the size.
It's really important. And honestly, for women, it's easier for us to manipulate our size-ish than it is for men.
Okay.
So when we're talking about size, we're talking about the length.
Yes.
Of basically the yoni inside. I don't want to get too graphic.
No, it's
right?
okay. It's all right.
So say if you're 5 inches, which is average, that's our small fruit. That's our carrot, if you will.
Okay.
And but the woman's is the papaya, which is the large. You're like, you're not getting in for the woman and the man. He's only getting in so far, right? Or I mean, she's going this much longer. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense.
So it's a little bit challenging. How to like this can get really complex. So I'm trying to keep it simple and not go off. But basically, women can learn to train their yoni muscles, and there's ways to do it. There's also ways for men to grow their lingam, but that takes a lot of time or a lot of money. There's 2 options, I always say. A free version and then a more expensive version.
Yes.
So there we go.
Wow. Does size matter? Wow. Look, I'm going to tell you what, we get in the podcast. We get in the podcast right now. So yeah, guys, if you are smaller down below, then guess what? Go after the smaller girls. Now, let me ask you this, Janelle. Is it true? Because one thing that I've always assumed is that, because when girls get overweight, they become whales. My guess is that their yoni is probably pretty big. And if a girl is small, her yoni is small. Is that true?
That's actually not true. And
wow.
It would be that way. There's varying factors. I know this is so weird too.
Let's go.
Because it's the same thing with guys. You could have a giant guy and he have a very small lingam, and you could have a guy that doesn't look like he's like a destiny, done a thing of work in his life, and he could be slinging like, you know, what I call my cucumbers, my giant cucumbers.
Well, hold on. Let's speaking of Destiny, one thing's for certain: Destiny ain't slinging cucumber. Because if he was slinging cucumber, Melina wouldn't have left his ass for a dude that wore a dress. So let's just get that out of the way.
Exactly. So
fucking loser.
So the thing is, there's so many factors. One is elasticity. Remember, the yoni is a muscle.
Yes.
Just like
and so is the lingam. Yes.
Correct. So most women have never in their lives once done anything to work it out, but yet they'll go to the gym and work out all the time, which is kind of weird when you think about it. Like, why am I not working out like my yoni, which is basically my prize?
Yes.
You know, even if your woman gets older, if she keeps her yoni and everything like tight and right and lubricated, it's still enjoyable for a man, right? But if you just let it go, then it's like out the window, right?
Wow.
Like, so, and it's the same thing with the men. Men have to do strength and conditioning.
Sure.
With their yoni too. Of course, it's a little different. So elasticity could be one thing. If they've had children, how many children they've had, if they've done anything to work on those, the tonality of the pelvic floors, the pelvic floor, the yoni walls going inside the yoni, and actually strengthening them if they've done that. And then some of it is just genetics too.
Yes, that's
it's
very
like
true.
Your lingam is just genetics, and freaking Destiny's is probably not great genetics, but you know,
probably not. And listen, man, I got no problem with people who haven't come out, but Destiny, bro, you need to just go ahead and come out, man. Just come out. Like, listen, and I don't think honestly, I don't think anybody would be surprised, and I don't think it would hurt him. I think he would be acknowledging what the rest of the world already knows about him. Just come out, and you'll be so. Dude, if this dude came out, maybe he could stop taking Adderall and arguing with people just to argue on any channel he wants to. Just be happy, be upfront, and just do what you got to do. All right, no more pot shots on Destiny.
Yeah.
Ken Rose with the $2 Rumble rant. Appreciate that very much. So I've got some questions from my Discord. With regards to your time as a stripper, here's one question. Would you ever date a man who previously paid for your services?
I know women have these like crazy rules about it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did I ever date someone? I'm actually trying to think.
No, I understand. It's a good question, right?
A few years ago, and no one ever asked me about this part of my life because I don't really talk about it. I mean,
sure.
why would I? Hey,
right. Of course.
15, you know, like I'm not talking about it. You know, I did date someone once. He played in the NBA.
Okay.
And he was very tall. He was 7 feet.
Woo! Wow.
Yeah, he was tall. He played for the Mavericks. But, you know, we dated for a little bit. It didn't work because his long distance.
Sure.
It was hard.
Right.
But I guess, you know, I would. Like, I wouldn't. I know women say, oh, yeah, I would never. But I don't really believe them. I think that if you feel like the connection and I think it also, here's a big caveat. I think men who go to the strip clubs regularly, that's one thing. Versus a man who's out, for instance, the team all went out after the game, some big thing, and he doesn't go there, or a bachelor party. Most guys have one or two bachelor parties in their life, but they never go any other time.
Makes perfect sense, Janelle.
You would hold that against them just because maybe they don't really like strip clubs, but they were there with their friends, or they were you know, like Dana White used to bring in all the UFC fighters. I used to talk to Rampage all the time. He did not want to be there at all. And I repeat, at all. But you just go.
So listen, Janelle, oh man, you're blowing my mind here. That makes perfect sense because there's a big difference between a guy who goes there casually with his friends for a bachelor party or some kind of event and a guy who frequents strip clubs frequently. So now let me rephrase the question. Would you ever date a regular who had previously paid for your services?
No.
Okay. And why not? What's the mentality behind that?
I mean, he's a regular, old habits die hard. He's probably going to be back in there, you know, life, like sexual polarity phase, as long as you're not working at it. Even the best person who's doing all the right things, if these are underlying habits or unmet needs that he hasn't solved, then he's going to go right back to that. And if I'm with someone, I want to have a family with them. I don't really want that energy around myself and the kids.
Okay, very good. Very well said. Very, very well said. Here's another question. Do you think it is beneficial for men's masculinity and mindset to frequent strip clubs?
I don't really think so.
Okay.
No.
And why not?
It just depends on, I probably don't subscribe to what the masses subscribe to, and I understand that, and I am not judging because I know my life is weird. Like, I get it, you know. I used to drink my urine and like bodily fluids.
Yeah, right.
Shit in Thailand, like trust me. But I just think that energy is really low.
Okay.
I think that it's in my mind. I do think that it's exploiting women a bit. Okay. I just do, and I was a dancer for 10 years, so like you know, Vegas, you know,
that whole lifestyle. I get it.
I've seen the hottest women around the world. I just don't think it does anything for the dynamics. Okay. I think women start to always think that men have to pay them. I think that gets in their mind.
Yep.
And that skews their judgment in regards to a healthy man who doesn't want to go to clubs, who wants a real intimate connection with them, wants a real relationship, but they're still stuck in the strip club.
Okay.
And then for men, I think it what's the word? Reinforces pay to play.
Yes. Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Now, you and I both know that relationships are transactional, right?
Yes,
like I would not be in a relationship with Devin if I couldn't, if she didn't have sex with me. She would not be in a relationship with me if I did not provide for her. But the stripper / I guess John customer client relationship, that is a direct transaction. In a relationship, it's understood. You provide me the sex, I provide you with the resources, and we're one big happy family. But in the strip club, it happens immediately. There is no lap dance without the cash, and there is no cash without the lap dance. Correct. So let me ask you this. Since stripping, how has your view changed of men before stripping to right now?
Yeah, so if I had just come straight from the strip club into the real world, I think I'd still be really effed up. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
However, I went to an ashram and spent a year in Thailand and India where the only thing we did is worship the divine masculine.
Oh, okay. Wow. Where is this magical place?
Yeah, it's a very magical place. The men loved it there. Unfortunately, I was not interested in any of the men were there, but I played along because it was good for me to start seeing the God. What we would say is we look for the God in every man in front of us.
Okay.
So we do this activity I do at my retreats called soul gazing, and we go around the room. There might have been 100 men, and the men would get up and move, and the women we would be in the inside of the circle. The men were on the outside, and the men would rotate every like 3 minutes, and we would just, in each person, just look into their eyes, and we would find the God, the divine in them.
Okay.
And so it was that practice that started like I don't know what it was, like a pattern interrupt.
Okay.
That helped me to start seeing men as not just a number, not just
a wallet.
A wallet. I started seeing like, hey, and even some of these guys, I'd be like, this guy's a creep. What is he doing here? My mind would say that because you're just staring at the guy. You're not saying anything for 3 minutes. It's very intense, right?
Sure, sure.
And so then I would say, nope, there's God in him. There's God. Find this in him. He's here, you know? And so for me, I started that practice, and that's what, of course, I do on my retreats.
There you go. Okay.
Women, you know, foster this. So yes, if I'd come out of the strip club and just gone straight into the world, I don't think my view of men would have really changed. How can it?
That makes sense. But because you didn't come straight from the strip club out to the real world, how has your mindset about men changed?
So my mindset has become what we talked about in the beginning.
Okay.
So all energy is just energy. It's how I choose to mitigate it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So for instance, I get slammed with very lewd messages a lot of times.
Oh, wow.
You know, even if I'm just regular like this right now, they'll be like, oh, their boobs, this, that. I'm not even showing them, but it's hard to miss them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm with you.
I get it. I'm not knocking it.
Sure.
So I have just learned to say, okay, that's energy. And I can just keep that energy in my mind and say, you know what? I don't have to go down to that level they are, where it's just lewd and just like whatever, inappropriate. You don't know me, but yeah, it's their opinion, and I can take that energy and say, oh, they think highly of me. I'm going to take that energy.
Okay.
So that's how I've chosen to see the energy that's unwanted, if you will.
That makes sense.
For men, I feel like it's been a learning experience of being very discerning with the energy that I let into my sphere.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
And not all men are bad. Not all men are, you know, just want to use you or, you know, I think for me, but again, I have a gift, and I know it's weird. Like, I read people's energy right away.
Sure. Right.
I can read it through a text. I know what a person's like before I even meet them. But I'm an empath. I'm an intuitive, but I've worked on that skill. Mm-hmm. So does it make it hard? I think it makes it more hard because I know a lot of things, and it's hard for me to say, okay, well, you know, I don't know, Donovan. I don't know if there's a right answer for this.
No, it's just your answer.
Because I'm not perfect either.
Sure, of course not.
Some people might say, oh, well, you were a stripper, so why should I want to marry you? Right. And so so the thing is, I'm very egalitarian.
Okay.
Like, I understand that some people may have a little past. That doesn't mean their past is who they are right now.
Sure.
But it could mean that, right?
Sure.
So I think it's for me, it's been a case by case. Like, and here's one thing I will say I live by is when someone shows you who they are, fucking believe them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, dude, absolutely.
Don't wait for them to change, especially men. Women want to change men. Why? What do you want to change in men? Men are unmovable. They're fixed.
Supposed to be.
Supposed to change if they're really a man. You don't change, Donovan. I've known you, I don't know how long, but you're the same as when I met you like 5-6 years ago.
We've known each other for 5-6 years. Yeah, well, I'm the same.
I've changed my hair how many times? In my
a lot.
but that's women. That's the feminine, and the more feminine the energy, the more the woman will change it up. As long as her core and her value stays the same, of course. Right?
Okay, very good, very good. Now, when you were a dancer, and obviously when you're a dancer, you date, you have, relationships, whatever. Did you keep your profession secretive, or were you always up front?
So I did. So for me, it's a little different because I had a pimp for most of the time I was in.
Okay.
But in Vegas, certainly. But there was about a year or so that I did it, and I did date. I know it sounds like I'm a pro hoe, but I'm not. Like,
a pro hoe.
I was like
a pro hoe. That's great.
Because I was about to say I very seriously dated an NFL player. Like, I'm still friends to him. this day. Like, we don't talk often. He just went through divorce and stuff, but he played for the Bears, and we dated for about 1.5 years. He did know what I did.
Okay.
But of course, he was in Chicago. I was in Vegas. So we would actually talk when he was driving into work and when I was getting off work. And he got it. He understood. I mean, I think some guys, they get it. Other guys, it's a hell no. I think for him, he was raised, I think, a little differently. His dad was from where's the area in Africa where they're known to be scammers? I'm sorry. I know.
Oh, Nigeria.
Yeah, his dad was Nigerian.
Okay, yeah.
And his mom was white from Chicago. And so his dad had a whole nother family. It was a big thing. So I think he was more open-minded. But in the end, like, I think we would have actually worked out. And he told my family, like, we went to a game. My family came to a game. And he even said, like, I would have waited for Janelle. He's like, he was just going through this thing. Of course, baby mama, you know, it always happens. Of course, and in the end, we didn't work out. But so for him, I was honest and I told him. And yeah, you know,
you don't regret telling him then.
I don't regret telling him because I think we were both very open and honest. He shared with me what he was going through, and he didn't really feel his baby mama like that. He wasn't attracted to her, but he did feel like long term. Do you know what I mean? Right. But he felt like it was the right thing to probably stay with her for the kid. Right. And he did stay. And in the end, he did had 2 more kids, and then they got divorced like 2 years ago. So, you know, but when the kids were, you know, almost older. But so in the end, I think honesty was the best policy in that scenario. But I think most guys probably are not open-minded like that. Yeah. 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 Well, and listen, I am. Oh my God! Did George Russell just crash his car? I'm sorry, I'm watching Formula One. Oh shoot! Okay, I'm like, what? Oh my God, dude, I'm a Formula One addict. Here's another very, very good question from the Discord. He says, "Can you truly love?" And we're gonna fast forward to what you do now, because you do a lot of work. Lando Norris got the poll. Cool. You do a lot of work with sex. And listen, I follow you on Instagram. This is just what you do. You're in close quarters with very attractive men. Pause. And you teach couples and teach people how to have better sex. If you were to date someone, could you wrap your mind around the fact that he would probably rather have you do something else for a living, or do you not see it that way? I mean, I'm like, I date, like, I've dated, you know, 2 ends of the spectrum since my son was born. I've only been in 2 serious relationships. And I was actually privy to one of them. Yeah, you were. Yes. And I was really in love with him. Yeah, I know you were. And he was so young. And everyone told me he's so young. And I was like, I know. But I was just honestly, like, I never had a childhood. I never went to prom. I never went to high school. I never had those experiences of, like, really being attracted to someone, being very, like, and just, I mean, I did a little bit with my ex I told you about in the NFL, but we were long distance. It was just a lot of things. So I was really in love with him. In the end, I realized, like, I was not ready for how much maturity it was going to take for him to get to where I needed to be for us to have something substantial that could really work. I have a son. Yeah, of course. And then I have to say, I felt a little guilty in the past couple of years, like, man, maybe I shouldn't have dated him. And then I try to think, did I take too much time away from my son? Like, all these thoughts go into your mind when you're a mom, even though, like, I worked it into my work where he would travel with me. So I would have been away anyway, you know? Sure. So with all that being said, I think that I also realized what was my non-negotiable. And I realized that, God, I do want someone who is a little better off than what he was. Okay. I did realize that. I did come to that conclusion because to me, physically, he was everything. He was 6'8", dimples, all that, right? Yeah, he was everything. I think he was some men's taste. Like, men would come up to us in the elevator and it was crazy. Oh, wow. But yeah. Like, he was like everything I was looking for. But in the end, I was like, God, I would have been like still the man kind of, because I'm older. I was making more money. How much money can a barber make, you know? Like, and no disrespect to barbers. No disrespect at all, but you're just keeping it real. And I like flying first class. I
Yes.
love it when people fly me first class. It's freaking amazing. Once in a while, when I can, I fly first class my damn self, you know, not all the time. I'm not going to lie and act like I'm balling out of control, but I do. My son loves first class. And then when we fly it and then we don't get to the next one, he's like shook, you know, because it's so crazy, especially international. If you fly first class international, it's a whole nother thing. Right?
Dude, I know. Dude, oh my God. Trust and believe. Listen,
you're a big guy.
Oh, dude, flying first, honestly, flying first class is like putting bacon on a cheeseburger, okay? You can't not eat a cheeseburger after you put bacon on it. That's just how it goes.
It's just there. And so things like that, I started realizing, like, I like that I was flown to the Maldives by someone who was very much interested in me, and everything was first class, and we stayed in one of those overwater freaking bungalows.
Oh, like we see on Instagram. Boy, that'd be real nice.
Legitimately, that was my birthday 2 years ago. Those things I like, and I knew that was not going to happen with him. Now, had he not had the indiscretions and the little like freak out, would I have stayed with him?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Wait, did you say freak out or freak off?
No, I think it was both. You know, and bless his heart. You know, I put pressure on him.
Of course, yeah. You put the full court press on that nigga for real.
But the thing is, he called me over the last few years and was like, "God, all these girls are so mature." Da, da, da.
Yeah,
I was like, he's in Vegas. I'm like, that's
where he moved to. Yeah, hey, listen,
enjoy, and you know, he's gonna like. He'll never forget me. That's for sure. That is one thing I know for sure, because he's going to find younger, hotter. Absolutely. But there's not women, like feminine women,
right,
who have that intellect, who are still attractive, but very smart and also very feminine and just want to take care of men. That doesn't really exist that much anymore. Right. So I know he'll never forget me. But in regards to your first question, sorry, I got off topic.
It's all right. You're good.
No, I'm not. Here's the thing. If and when I get to that place where I'm really serious with my partner, I'm happy to take a back seat in this work, because I know it is weird.
Okay.
I know it's weird for the average Joe, and it's just weird. And in a guy's mind, like, what's happening, even though nothing's happening, like what's happening.
Yeah, right.
I think that I'll start, you know, writing books, and I'll always sell courses and things like that. As far as like doing one-on-ones or even couples stuff, I probably wouldn't do that anymore.
Okay.
If I did a retreat, I would, you know, say, hey, do you want to come? And let him come.
You can, yes, you can. I'll use you as my model, right?
That's what I did with my ex.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And so it's not a stranger.
Okay.
And then once he got it, and then I have, if he's not there, I have models that I hire. And so he knows.
Oh, good. Okay.
Of course, I understand. And listen, ideally, like, I don't have to work that much. I do what I do, but like, I don't think it's wrong for women to want to be provided for, as long as they're on that same end, bringing something to the freaking table.
Yes.
I don't like the rhetoric, and I'm just going to tell you, in the red pill, where they're like, you can't have this. This is not attainable. And I say, yeah, if your value is that, and you're bringing what a man needs, which most of the time it's very different, but men need sex. Right?
Yes.
Right?
We need it.
They need a confidant, not someone to give them advice unless they ask for it. And even if a man asked for my advice, I would inadvertently not give it to him. I would let him say it out of his mouth.
There you go.
Because I know, psych. I just know what to do in regards to
right. That, right? You've got experience. That's what comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they, in most cases, want someone to procreate and to give them children, you know, and to keep a nice home and to take care of their needs and to take care of their children. I think a really good example of this is on a like superstar level is freaking the soccer player and his fiance. Oh
God! The guy, he put everything in her name or something like that. I forgot who it was.
Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah.
You know, those 5 kids are not hers. Only 2 of them are hers.
Of course, yeah. But he's Cristiano fucking Ronaldo.
And she takes care of those kids. I watched the show. I binge watched it. It was so good. She takes care of them like she says, these are my kids. And she like they are her own. Right. And that's why she has what she has.
That's right. Exactly. And they have 5 kids together. 60% of the kids are not hers biologically, but guess what? That's what she brings to the table. She takes care of his brood.
she is with them all the time. They
Yes.
don't even have like nannies. I'm sure they have housekeepers and stuff like
Sure,
that. But
sure.
like she does most of the stuff like hands-on. And I think ultimately that is what a lot of men want.
Okay, very good. Yeah. Excellent. Here's another very, very good question. And I guess we can meld this together. Your time in, your time as a dancer, what you do now. What would you say is the main reason your relationships end? Well, hold on. Yeah. Let me ask it like this: within the context of what you do and did for a living, how did most of your relationships end if your job or jobs had anything to do with it?
Okay, great. So I'll just take it very candidly because I'm very candid. So I like to give examples.
Okay,
I think that's useful.
Let's do it.
My first relationship, I dated someone who was a lot older, about 30 years older than me. Mm-hmm. He works in the personal development field. He works for Tony Robbins on his stage. Okay. And I met him at an event, and I was not smitten with him. It was not love at first sight. So I always say that sexual attraction comes first. And I actually still stand on that.
Oh, of course. 100%.
I did grow to like him and love him. Mm-hmm. And he was very influential when my son was pretty young. Really? Yes. He was, he lives in Newport. He still lives in Newport Beach.
Oh, yeah. Newport Beach. Yeah.
Not far from me still.
Yeah.
Talk, like, I check on his son. He's like, how's Amadi? Like, we have a good relationship, I asked him to write something for my book. So now I have to send it over to him. But, so why ours ended is kind of interesting. He was going through a really rough patch in his life at that moment in regards to his ex-wife and the kid and the business and the home, and a lot of stuff financially. I don't want to air his laundry. Sure. And at my time, I was also in my own, like, restarting here. My son was just a couple years old, and it was a lot. We did have a love, and I did learn a lot with him. It was like having a dad I never had.
Wow. Okay.
And a business partner and a lover. It was very weird. The dynamic was weird. Why we ended, honestly, was difference of values. I wanted to get married and have more kids, and he did want to marry me, but he did not want to have any more kids because he's almost 70 at that time, right?
Okay.
And so that's a very, like, it doesn't work. He wanted to, like, retire, chill, and I felt like my life was kind of just getting started. And I definitely was attached to the idea of having a family.
Hang on, I gotta wrangle my cat. Callie?
Okay.
Callie. Come here.
Cat break.
Holy moly. Say hi to Callie. Woohoo!
Cat break, everyone.
Apologies for that. We've got 4 cats.
But I understand. So long and short was, for me, it was just I would have been happy with him. I still love him to this day. I was like, man, I really, really, I cared so much about him. I want the best for him. I see him. He's blown up since I knew him.
Sure, of course. Yeah. Everything Tony Robbins touches turns to gold, man.
Turns to gold. I see stuff everywhere. It's like social. I'm like, this is crazy. It's kind of weird, but it's like, I'm like, go for it. But I think it was just difference of values, difference in timing. And the funny thing is, the same thing happened again, but just, it was 15 years younger. And it was so I'm like, so now in my relationship, it's like, okay, now this is like the timing is right now.
Right.
And that's what I'm feeling.
Okay. Very good. How long, while you were in the industry, how long did your relationships typically last? Was it 1 month, 2 months? I
really only had 2,
Okay. Wow.
I don't consider my hemp to be a relationship, even though it's still maybe 3. I guess it was 3. And then the NFL player that I told you I dated for 1.5 years, and then someone in San Antonio, Texas that I dated. Okay. For a good year before I moved and trained in Thailand. Okay. So I've never really, like, been out there like that, I've always been like a quality over quantity.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get this straightened out here. Let me ask you this. Do you think men just play the game? This is when you were a stripper. Did you think men just played the game long enough to be able to sleep with you for a few months, or do you think they wanted relationships with you, like genuine relationships?
Well, both of them were over a year, my relationships. So the guy in the NFL, that was a year and a half. And then the one in San Antonio was the same as a year and a half. Now the guy I played that I dated for like a few months, he got dropped from the team, you know.
Oh, that sucks.
So I think there was a lot of life. I think in my relationships, it's always been like very situational,
okay,
like life stuff happening.
Yeah.
Maybe we weren't strong enough to. I mean, we'd been dating like 3 or 4 months, and he gets dropped from the team, and then
wow, he got cut. Oh no, that sucks.
Got cut for other weird stuff. But long and short is, I didn't have those type of like short-ended relationships.
Okay,
you know?
okay,
really didn't. And again, I'm just very picky.
Okay.
I know what I like. I know what I want. And I'm not that person that's like, I want to go have sex. I'm going to find someone and get in a relationship. Like, no. Or I want someone to be with at Christmas. Like, I'm the person, I used to go to the movies alone all the time before I knew that that was weird. I didn't know that that was weird because I grew up so restricted in life. I never got to see movies. We never had television.
Yeah, of course,
so,
of course.
To me, I did all the things that people don't want to do because you're supposed to be in a relationship. Like I go to Europe, you know, every year with my son.
Yeah, right.
I don't think anything about it. So I think for me, it's just if you're not like, if I'm not asexually attracted to you and we have amazing polarity and we have an amazing rapport, I'm just not like, I'm not interested, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
And I just don't
give me 2 seconds. Hold on. XC, listen, listen, if you have opinions about her, I understand. But guys, let's keep it respectful. Okay, let's keep it respectful. This isn't Fresh and Fit. This isn't Michael Sartan. This isn't the Whatever podcast, okay? Yes, there is a time, a place. There's a time and a place to see us dunk on women, okay? I'm actually going to be on Fresh and Fit maybe in a couple of weeks. And you better believe I'm going to be dunking on these bitches because somebody needs to put their foot on these hoes' neck. This is not that time, right? So, guys, now hold on. Right now, I'm respectfully asking you. Let's dispense with the jabs, with the snide comments. Let's dispense with that. Now, this is the first time. This is the first and last time I'm going to respectfully request that you stop it with the judgmental chats. If you want to roast her in the comments, that's perfectly fine. But right now is not the time. And if you continue, I'm going to ban you. We want our guests to come back, okay? This is why we always wonder. All right, XC, shut the fuck up. See, yeah, there you go. So XC, all right, now you're out. Guys, this is not a MGTOW Black Pill channel, y'all, okay? We seek to understand women, right? You understand? Like we seek to understand women. Yes, there is a time and a place to talk shit about women because God knows they need to be talked shit about. Right now is not the time nor the place. So listen, if you guys wanna put your thoughts in the comments, no problem. But right now, shut the fuck up while my guest is on. I asked you the first time. Now I'm fucking telling you. If you guys wanna dunk on women, go to the MGTOW channels. Okay, go watch. Go watch Destiny. Go watch. Go watch. What's his name? MGTOW Dictionary. Go watch those guys. That's not what we're doing here today. Yes, I do it here sometimes, guys, but this is not what that is. So I'm asking you one more time. Just respect the guests. That's all I'm asking. Here's a very good question by Alaskan K, and I think this probably is going to be a long-winded answer, but I think I'm good with that. He says, "What was her time like with her pimp, and how far did he push her?" That's a very invasive question, but I think you're willing to answer this.
Yeah. So it's crazy because I actually filmed a TEDx talk about how I left him, and I filmed it during COVID. It has not come out on the platform yet. I don't know if they're going to put it out, and honestly, I'm actually okay if they don't because it was very hard to do. Okay, and it was very. In the moment, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then after, like, you know, COVID, and then they were like, okay, now we're going to edit it. And then I was like, do I really want this out there?
Boy. Oh, boy.
I was kind of like, you know what? I'm okay if they don't. And so as of now, I don't even know if it's going to come back out because how TED works is they group you into 4 or 5 talks, and then they push that out.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's going to work.
Okay.
And I'm actually okay that it doesn't.
Okay.
To answer that question, it was very intense. Like, I should have died a few times for sure.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I have very mild. I have very mild TBI from some multiple concussions.
What's TBI?
Traumatic brain injury.
Oh my God, Janelle. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
and what did they come from?
Him throwing me down the stairs in Gladys Knight's house, like crazy stuff. Cause he was like roided out and all kinds of stuff,
wow.
you know? So so my time was very intense. And so it is annoying when these Me Too movement women, you know, say all this stuff and it's not facts. And then there's women like myself and others who went through crazy stuff, and we don't use that as our victim card. We just use that as, this is why I do what I do now. I want people to have a healthier relationship to their intimacy and their sexuality so that they don't have to go through the things that I experienced. So I think that, so that was very intense. Now, in regards to like a lot of the questions, like I worked in the strip club. So like I just made a quota in the strip clubs. Like I wasn't like in and out of hotel rooms or anything like that. So it was still like, you know, very, very intense time. And I'll just say that.
Okay. Very good. I don't know, who knows? Maybe later on we can get into it a little bit more without.
Next time we can go into a little bit.
All right. Because I'd be very interested to know, just not out of morbid curiosity, but just to kind of find out the mindset. CDL wants to know, how do men typically gain your trust, trust and attention and attraction to the point to where you are interested in them sexually? In other words, Janelle, what I'm asking you, you're an attractive woman. You're more attractive than most women. What does it take for a guy to get Janelle Gordon's attention?
Oh, you know what? That's a great question. I love that. Okay. So I'll tell you what happened with both ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
With my younger boyfriend or spouse or partner, if you will. I hate partner because they use that in the LGBTQ word.
Listen, the reason why partner doesn't work is because my relationship is not a partnership. Yeah. Listen, Myron Gaines is a business partner of mine on a couple of endeavors. Devin is not my partner. She is my wife. You understand? Oh, there is no partnership. That partnership connotes equal authority. There is no equal authority here. I'm the motherfucker in charge.
Yes, and the LGBTQ have used that. Like,
sure, right.
To death.
And feminism sort of, feminism kind of rode that out.
So my lover, as I say, it's what I use in my book. So my previous lover, the young one, he actually came really hard in the beginning. Like he took me to like really nice restaurants.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking like white tablecloth.
Wow.
Yeah, like very nice.
Wow.
First date. And I was just like, that's what I wanted. You know, I wanted to feel, you know, I'm a single mom. I'm working. We'd just come through COVID, or we're just coming through COVID, if you will. Mm-hmm. So to me, like, first of all, I was sexually attracted to him. I think that's important to say.
Of course.
And then he started taking me on the dates. And I did not pay for a date for a while. I would say like a couple months, and then I started sending him food to his work until we were kind of like, quote, official, if you will. To answer your question, one, I have to be sexually attracted to
you. Of course.
And then you have my attention right away.
Right. Assuming he is sexually, because listen, I'm sure that you have run up on men who are sexually attractive until they open their mouth and then your vagina dries up, right?
Yeah, everything's out the window.
Right, everything's out the window. So assuming that he meets your physical needs in terms of sexual attractiveness, what are the personality traits that keeps you interested and around?
I think it's, okay, so there's a few things. One, I really like the assertiveness, like taking, like, you know, I picked this restaurant, here's where we're going, blah, blah, blah. Like, I really like when a man kind of like, just takes control. But I also like when he is, for me, when he thinks about like my needs. Like, for instance, someone asked me, hey, what can I do to help you? I know you have a small business, you're a single mom, like, and he was interested in me. And I like that. I took that kind of very highly. I was like, I like that. And it's not like a sugar daddy thing. It's just like, if you're a man and you have means and you're interested in a girl, like, why wouldn't you say, like, I want to lock it down? Like, I really don't want you working. You might not say that right away, but like, you might say, like, how can I make your life easier? Because in the end, if a man really, really likes you and really wants to, like, for instance, this producer that's been interested in me for a long time from Hollywood, he's done some big movies.
Okay.
He's not really my type, right? He's just not, but he's very interested. He wanted to go to my retreat. He promised me he would go. He didn't go. He still paid me for the retreat.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, there you go. All right.
That to me shows, and maybe for me, listen, if I was like some executive boss babe who's like, I'm just working all the time. I don't have kids. I'm not taking care of people. I'm not really serving clients. I'm just, on the grind. Maybe that might not be the best grandiose gesture. But to me, when a guy puts his money where his mouth is and shows like, I'm really interested, or he said, hey, like, I'm serious about getting married. Like, I want to get married.
Okay.
You're the kind of woman I'm looking for. Would you, I wouldn't want you to work. Would you be okay with that?
And I think you probably would be.
I would. I told him, yeah, I'd probably want a store. I'd probably want to do little stuff, like
little side business.
I'm always going to want to have a little bit of money of my own. I just will.
Sure.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. After what I came out of, I'll always want to be a little bit independent.
Okay, that makes sense.
I just will.
Now,
so that's the answer.
Okay. Now, a lot of guys watching might say, okay, Janelle, basically you said that what you've said, that the way a man is attractive to you, like in order to gain your attraction, he's got to come up off some money. What's your response to that?
I did say that. And you know what? You live in Newport Beach.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Raising a son who's in basketball. By the way, sports are not cheap.
No, they are not.
Do you know how expensive to put your kids in sports, like good basketball?
Good sports, right.
And my son eats, and we eat organic. And yes, I did say come up awesome money, but I just debunked the myth that I'd only be with someone for money. Because look at my ex, the barber. He was making no money. So I've done both, and that's why I'm very happy to say yes. I would say come up awesome money, because why? For a man, that's the only way it really hurts in my mind.
Okay.
What does it hurt for a woman? Opening up our legs, figuratively and physically, right?
Sure.
Opening our legs and letting you inside our body, which is the most important thing to you guys. Men don't really feel it anywhere. They'll have sex with anyone, really.
Really. we're a lot less selective than women are, for sure.
Correct. So how do men really feel? Feel it like they're giving of themselves. It's their resources and it's their time.
There you go. I tell men all the time. And the definition of a lot of people think that the definition of a simp is someone who just does nice things for women or someone who compliments women. And I want to run this by you. My definition of a simp is a man who gives an undeserving woman access to his time, energy, attention, and resources, right? Yes. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Women have to invest too. And a lot of guys don't understand this. Women got to get something out of the deal too. A lot of guys think that the red pill is, all right, we're just going to go around and fuck a bunch of bitches and I'm not giving them shit. Okay, that's fine if you're doing that for one night stands. But if you're going to be in a relationship with a woman, she's got to get something out of it too. By the same token, there are less of me than there are of Devon's. So guess what? Devon had to qualify herself to me first. When I deemed her worthy to have access to my time, energy, attention, and resources, that's when I decided to give these things to her. But if she didn't elevate my life in the ways that she does, but I'm still doing these things for her, that would make me a simp. What say you?
Correct. What we were talking about off the record, and we won't bring it up with that scenario with that guy I know very well and the women that he takes care of every month, and it's a relationship. And I said, it's not a relationship. These women are not giving you what a girlfriend would do.
That's right.
They're not giving you girlfriend energy. They might be giving you a GFE, but in this case, he wasn't even getting the GFE once or twice a year.
Girlfriend experience.
Yeah, and then you're only getting laid a couple times a year, and they're on salary, and then I'm like, No, they're not deserving. So I think what you said is that caveat is so huge. And that's why I do have that standard, because I do know my worth. I do know what I bring to the table in regards to not doing anything, but just being feminine and being willing to understand what every man's needs are, which is different,
Sure.
and being able to give that to him, and being able to sacrifice when it means, okay, he doesn't want me working. Sure, I still want to have a store, this and that, so I have some money coming in.
Sure,
but yeah,
sure.
I won't go work. I'll stay at home. I love cooking. I'm
Yes.
an avid baker. I would buy me a baby grand. I'll be home naked playing it when you get there. Like, and really, that's what he said he wanted. He's like, just be naked playing the piano.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, naked in heels. He forgot the heels. Let me ask you a question here, Janelle. In your opinion, what do you think the number one reason attractive women? Now, in your case, this is you notwithstanding. You came up through the foster system. You fucked around and got under a pimp's thumb and all that good stuff. So your situation's a little bit different. But what's the number one reason attractive women choose to be sex workers over settling with the rich men that pursued them? Because sex workers get pursued by rich men all the time. But for whatever reason, they choose to, instead of going to get the bag, they choose to stay in the industry and get multiple bags, and then they age out, and then the rich men don't want them anymore.
And then they don't want them.
Right.
That's a great question. And the reason, what I saw in the clubs with my own eyes, I worked at the Rhino. I know John Christo. I still have his number in my phone.
Wow.
So
you know Christo, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
John had a lot of respect for me because he said my stage name back in the day, and he said, you don't need help making money. He's like, I don't have to give you clients, you just do it. And it's because I learned really quickly how to talk to guys, how to practical psychologist, how to make them laugh.
Yes.
And that got me very far, because there's like 400 girls in the Rhino every given night.
Sure.
About 200 of them are smoking. And so the rest are fillers, whatever. But so we would call them like filler girls.
Yeah, of course. Atmosphere models, whatever.
Yeah. Atmosphere models. That's hilarious. Okay, so what I saw is most of the girls had loser boyfriends. A lot of them had loser boyfriends that, like, from their hometowns.
Okay.
That would just stay at home and blow up their phone and be like, when are you getting off? Who are you talking to? Did you do a dance? What's going on, really? Like, I think a lot of it was loser boyfriends that they just paid all their bills and stuff like that. And then the other thing I noticed, what I would notice is a lot of these girls would accept the one bag.
Okay.
They would leave. And we would always talk about it. We'd say, oh, we'll just say Candy.
Where's Candy?
I haven't seen her. She's not here. Because, listen, the girls. We all come in. There might be some girls on vacation for a week. But at the end of the day, you're back. You're on the grind every night.
Every night.
I worked on holidays. I worked at Thanksgiving, whatever. It didn't matter. I worked it.
Wow.
And so you'd be like, where's Candy? And then someone would come up, oh, yeah, she's out of the life. I'd be like, she retired? Like, she bought some real estate. She's like set up now for good. She's good. No. Like, Joe Schmo took her out.
Wow.
And so then I would say, oh, so she traded this job for like a full-time job. Basically.
Yeah.
But the thing that we would find out is that those never really worked. You'd see them back in about 6 months.
Really? Why is that? Is it because of the guy? Because again, the guy takes her off, and you know how it goes. Hey, listen, and of course, they sell you the dream. You're going to be a stay-at-home wife. You'll never want for nothing, blah, 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 blah. They take the girl off the pole. She doesn't have to work. Why do these relationships not work?
I think this is a really great question.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say that they didn't work. I think there was, I know someone perfect. Like, I know someone who lives in Vegas.
Okay.
She's an escort from like a.
Uh-oh. Looks like we lost her. Oh, man, she's about to tell us a great story. Janelle? Oh, dude, she's about to tell us a great... Janelle, you all right? Oh, shit. Let me text her. Wait a minute, you okay? Man, she's about to tell us a great story. Oh, my goodness. Colonel says, could it be the fast money and lifestyle is too addicting? I think that could be what it is. Like, you know, like in some cases, you can take the girl out of the strip club, but sometimes you can't take the strip club out of the girl. Let me drop her and bring her back up here. Hold on. She just, dude, yo, she just fucking disappeared. Damn, is she all right? Like, yo, the chick just disappeared. Oh, wow. All right. Hopefully she rejoins us. Wow, dude, she just, damn. I hope that wasn't her pimp who came back and snatched her ass up. Yeah, you know what's interesting? Oh, there she is.
Okay.
There
my laptop died just when I was getting.
Oh, I was like, what happened? We were like, dude, was her former pimp watching this? Did he come and snatch her? Because you literally disappeared.
I know. I was like trying. Okay, so I got it plugged back in. So
okay, good.
Down a light,
okay, very good.
So this is great. So this girl I met here in OC, I met her at Organic Mother's Market,
Orange County.
Now, Orange County. Mm-hmm. She's just straight up told me, and this is what I love about if the women have really been in the industry and they're like really honest, they'll just like tell you. She's like, yes. Oh yeah, no, I'm like a full-on escort. She's like, I'm not like a healer or anything like you, or no, I sleep with men. Like she told me 1,000%. And like I got along with her because we were both like crazy into holistic health, like always doing weird shit, you know? So right. I just kind of was talking to her, curious about her life, and she would tell me like, hey, yeah, like there's this one guy, I really like him, and he was a client, and she's like, well, he asked me to marry him, and I was like,
wow.
And she lived in Huntington. She had like a modest little home there, you know, she bought. And she would still see clients, and the guy, I guess, knew it. And then I guess the guy finally was like, and of course he was a plastic surgeon in Vegas. He wanted to take her off the market.
There you go.
Married her. She's with him now. They have 2 kids.
Okay.
And it happened, right? So I do think that it does happen. This girl was very smart, very educated. She knew.
That's why she's still married, because she's smart. So talk to me. So that's one of the stories that worked. So what percentage of girls who get taken off of the market, what percentage of them end up back on the pole or back in the industry? In just, I don't know, spitballing just right off the top.
And just whatever Shakti statistics. I don't know. I would say it's like 80-20, and that's probably generous. 80-20
as in 80% works and 20% don't?
No, other way.
So 80%. Oh, wow. So let's meet somewhere in the middle. So in other words, most of the time, we don't have to, it could be 51%. So yeah, most of the time when a girl from the industry, stripper, porn star, you know, cam girl, when a client of hers takes her off the market and gets married, it ends, most of the time they end up back in the club.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say always married, because I don't know if it's always like that.
Sure, but like, you know, they try the live-in boyfriend-girlfriend thing. No, I get it.
Yes,
I get
moves in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw so many times where that happened, and then you would see them back. And a lot of times it would be when I would talk to them or ask, or rumor has it, if you will, it would be that, you know, he was like caught with another girl or something, you know, the guy.
Oh boy.
Or B, it would be some kind of weird excuse, like the girl. I think sometimes
excuse. Here's a possible answer. A Colonel's in the chat says, could it be because the fast money and the lifestyle is too addicting? Listen, when you're in the strip club, it's a nightlife, it's drugs, it's great drinks, blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden you got to be Susie Homemaker.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. Exactly. Whoever said that in the chat, I was gonna say, I think it's hard for them to not have that adrenaline rush of that way of getting their needs met.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I was the rare of all rares. I always say I'm an outlier, and people laugh even when I'm on Fresh and Fit. I say it, but I never drank and I never smoked.
Wow.
I never did drugs.
Okay.
So, and I'm not saying I've never, ever, 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 ever drank in my life.
Sure.
That would be a lie. Have I drank in my life? Yes.
Of course.
How many times? Not that many. In the last 3 years, how many drinks have I had? Maybe 3. Like, I don't drink. And for this last year, I've had 0, and the year before, none. I was drinking.
You clearly take, well, that's not surprising because you take good care of yourself. I mean, you're in your 40s. Your skin is beautiful. Like, you look, I mean, you look great. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. And I take that very serious. But even when I was younger and I was in Vegas and I didn't know as much, I was still into health back then, but I didn't fully understand like I do today. I didn't drink then. I would dump the, like, I would just like into the plant, or I would have them do fake shots, or I would order Vosses. At the end of the night, I'd have like 20 Vosses.
Oh, like, wow. So you were a water drinker, huh?
Water. And I would just, and I never tried to hide it unless the girls I was with were like, no, you got to pretend. I just be like, I just want water. I get tired and I like to stay up. And then I never did drugs either. And I never smoked. And I think a lot of the dancers in the industry or porn girls, they have to do something to be in that environment. So I think when they leave that environment, I also think this happens. They might still be addicted to the substances. And then I don't think they're really maybe taking care of household duties.
Of course.
They might try to make it to the gym, but then at night they might be using, I'm just all speculation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that when that becomes your everyday night, I mean, girls, I know they would pop something every night when they got to the club or on their way to work.
Yep.
So if you do that for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden you're not doing that, you're making meatloaf and freaking vegan cupcakes. You know what I mean? Like,
meatloaf. Hey, look, I'll take it.
Yeah, for someone like me, I grew up baking and cooking, so this is normal to me. Right. Well, wow. I guess you are an outlier in those ways. What are your thoughts? And this is another question from my Discord. What are your thoughts on the rise of female sex workers turning to substance abuse and committing suicide? Because there's clearly sort of an epidemic of that going on. The last 3 years, we have seen, I think, 5 or 6 or 7 porn stars who have either died, most by their own hand. What are your thoughts there? I've seen that as I just started kind of hopping on Twitter. I know it's funny. People are like, you're not on Twitter? I'm like, no. Like, should I be? Like, I'm so out of this world. But I saw some of that stuff on my feed, and I was like, what is this? Like, this young,
crazy,
decently attractive girl? Like, so, I mean, I think it's the writing's on the wall. Like, these young women aren't happy. Let's just be honest. Like, you can't say that.
There you go.
There's two things to this. One, once you do something long enough, it kind of becomes habitual, right? Like, you maybe at the first of the year don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to get up meat. But if you do it for long enough and you continually do it, then you start being obsessed with the gym. And like right now, I'm like, as soon as I get off this thing, I'm going straight to the gym, and then I'm going to cook my son dinner, and then I have an 8 o'clock Thai massage, and that's my night. Like, literally, that's what I have, because I've been doing so much work this week. But when you habitually seduce men for a living, even if you don't like it, which you don't, no woman wants to grind on guys every night of their life, even if they are making a ton of money. Right. But I think what happens is that it becomes who you are. You do it so much, it becomes your habit. Your habits becomes your values, and your values becomes how you live your life. So then you're getting your needs met, because remember, people, anytime you do 2 things at once that are highly addictive and that are meeting a need, or that are meeting a need, it becomes an addiction.
And it's a cycle. You need one to do the other, and the other to do the one.
So, for instance, going to work every night and A, taking, some kind of substance, B, getting money, C, getting a lot of attention from guys, right?
Yeah.
Those are 3 things that you're doing every night that becomes your unique way of getting your needs met. For one, significance. Every night you're somebody.
Yes.
Even if you're nobody from freaking Iowa, you're somebody and on stage.
Yeah.
Or in these chats or whatever, chat rooms.
Of course.
And then 2, you're taking a substance. There's certainty that you're going to feel different.
Yes.
Right? Every night. Then there's also uncertainty that you're going to, maybe it's going to be a different night, a different high. And then there's also, you're feeling some kind of connection, even though it's not real connection and love. When you're with these people, you're getting some kind of energy. So I just named 4 or 5 of the basic human needs, and that women will have 3 of them, but they're all being met at that one time every night when they go into the club. So then you take that away from them.
Okay.
What happens? They go out into, do you see what I'm saying? And so then now they're unhappy.
Yes.
So a lot of these women, they're in it, but they're unhappy because they're doing this and they don't really want to do it, but the money is too good for them to stop now. They don't know any way out of it. Maybe a lot of them probably don't have family like me. Like I didn't have family. I didn't have a place I could just go home and be like, hey, can I come home? I didn't have that. So then they just stay in it, right?
Right.
It's miserable. And so then what, they're probably just taking too many. They're not watching their doses. Do I think it was, I think some of them were purposeful. And then I think some of them weren't, right? I think it was half and half, right?
Yeah, it's about half and half. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just, nobody is really happy in that work.
No, especially women. I don't know if you've ever seen the Netflix documentary series called After Porn Ends.
I think I watched.
Oh my God! So there are three editions. After Porn Ends Part 1, 2, and 3. The first one was the realest one. Every single female porn star, to a woman, her life was a fucking disaster. Every single male porn star, they're doing good in life. Now, one guy regretted not having kids. He's like, that's one of my regrets. I didn't have kids, but other than that, I'm good. The point is, Janelle, is I think the reason why female sex workers off themselves is because it's just not what women should be doing. No. Like you should not be and actually, you know what? I wouldn't even say that, because you want to know something? Sex work is probably the oldest. It's the oldest profession, and it's the world's oldest profession. It's not that she shouldn't be doing it, but everything has costs. And when those costs become more than what you are willing to or able to pay, that's when you zero yourself out. It is like and I probably think that the most mentally, physically, psychologically, physically degrading thing is a woman who is a porn star. I'm talking like a porn star for a while. The Cagney Lynn Carters of the world, the August Ames. The world knows what the world knows what your kidneys look like from the inside. There's something to be said about having to deal with that with that mental anguish. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I know very intimately a porn star who actually was influential in why I moved to Orange County right before my son was born. So I met her in Vegas. She was a Club Jenna girl. Okay. And which when Jenna was really big back in the day.
Jenna Jameson, yeah.
Yep. And she was one of her main girls. And she would just come to the Rhino to do like her little show up, like I'm in town kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we kind of became friends because I was doing yoga at the time and she was like doing hot yoga as well. Okay. So we go to hot yoga studios together. Then she started staying with me. So we kind of became friends, if you will. Now, what happened basically is she was on drugs every night, 1,000%.
Wow.
1,000%.
Wow.
She had 2 daughters and she had a really intense story as well. But in the end, she got out and she did meet someone in New York who was one of her clients.
Okay.
Right. For one of her, her calls, if you will.
Sure.
Right. And so he was very elite, kind of like Trump family, like high real estate, stuff like that. Jewish family, took her in, wanted to marry her. The family said, hell no, not happening. Damn. So they, even though her and her daughters were living out there, they ousted her and they put him in rehab because he was obviously addicted too, right? Like the drugs likes. Long story short, she got a settlement. She did open up her yoga studio here. And so now she has them and she's actually, created a good life for her.
Okay.
Girls are now. But long story short, the mental and emotional toll that this takes on porn stars, it's insane. She's like, I was addicted to drugs because I had to do the scenes. Like, I couldn't do the scenes if I wasn't.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to this day, I mean, she just got married, I think last year. So congratulations to her. Like,
sure.
I hope it lasts. And I looked up the guy because I was curious. I wasn't judging. But I was like,
you took a look. Who is this dude?
I was kind of judging because we're not close anymore. But I just was like, I wonder who would marry a porn star, So I looked up and he had a little track record himself with financial stuff, a little scheme that put him away. So then I was like, okay, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, as far as like why he would marry her. Because,
absolutely. Because like attracts like, you said. He's a degenerate. She did degenerate things for a living.
Correct. No normal guy is going to just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to marry a porn star.
No, it doesn't work that way.
So what happens? You're right. It eats at their soul.
Yes. Of course.
Literally.
Yes.
And I think yoga was a big thing that saved her life, saved her girl's life. You know, I think she did a great thing, and she took one for the team, if you will, and she fixed her girls. And thank God, you know, the oldest is married with a little kid. And so thankfully it turned out right.
Good.
But is that how it normally turns out?
Hell no.
No, these women are trashed because innately we know that we're not supposed to give our body away in that nature.
Well, no, it's not that you're supposed to give your body away. It's just that the cost is not, it's not worth it. Like, it's worth it. The way I see it is this, Janelle, when you're born, whether you're beautiful women, if you're born beautiful, like if you are attractive from birth, you've been given a lottery ticket, okay? Yeah. When you turn 18, the world is your oyster. Most men want to have sex with you, which means also most men want to marry you. Now you can now you've got a few choices, okay? You can either cash out early at 18, 19 years old, marry a high-level guy, have his kids and be set for life. Or you can now that's the long game, okay? Yeah. You're not cashing out all at once, but you're sort of getting an annuity. You're sort of getting, you know what I'm saying? It's like a long-term thing. Most women, most attractive women, they blow all their winnings on sleeping around, drinking, drugs, et cetera, et cetera. Then when they get to then when they're on the wrong side of 30, they want to know where they're, no, you don't get paid. You don't get 2 lottery winnings. You had 1 ticket. You have, and most women, Janelle, most women usually have 4 to 5 men, high status men who would take them off the market if she would allow them to. Unfortunately, today, most women are like, nope, I've got time, until they don't.
Until they don't. And yeah, and this is, I mean, this could be a whole segment in itself. This thing is very tricky on why women are passing up good men.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, I don't understand. I do a little bit. I think it's the independence that's been kind of thrown at us in regards to media, and now all this stuff with even, man, I was so annoyed. Like the Gottman Institute, which is a very, very, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like a very respected organization that polls couples, and they pull them before they get married to see if their marriage will last. And they have like a 90-some% success rate.
Wow.
They will predict. And it's this Jewish husband and their wife, and they're like older couple, of course. The Gottman Institute. So when I took my sociology classes, all the stats came from Gottman. If I want stats on relationships, I always look up on Gottman. But I just saw their recent Instagram thing post because I followed them, and it was just so woke. And I was like, oh boy, it was like 2 guys, and the guy was dressed like all like scantily like a chick, and I was like, oh wow. And I think that is part of the problem. I think that the propaganda, the agenda has switched the narrative on feminizing men, masculinizing women, and there's this thing like you don't, and a lot of women are out earning men now.
Yes, they are.
They're making so much.
They make so much more, but and they'll be the first ones to bitch about the wage gap.
They don't, exactly. They don't need someone to buy them first class.
No,
they don't need someone to buy them their Louboutins or their Chanel. They buy it their damn self.
Yep.
And so those women, the ones who are not in sex work, right? Men are like, oh, there's a few women that aren't. Let me find them. Oh, wait, they're making so much money, and they're so masculine. Yeah. And it's like there's no. It's so weird because I feel like you have the extremes of women who are like OnlyFans, sex workers, like. They're kind of been in that industry, if you will, or are in it currently. And then you have over here the girls that have not been in the industry, right? But they're professionals, right? Business professionals. They're making more money than you in some cases. Yeah. They're not trying to get married. Nope. They're happy doing girls trips and Friendsgivings and all that
for now. But then when they get to the wrong side of 35, I reacted to a video yesterday. A girl's like, look, man, like I have all the money in the world. I own my cars. I own my house, but I'm fucking miserable because you don't have a man.
Correct. And then you have this small group of women who are just like middle, just regular girls, working CVS, whatever, just normal girls, just doing normal stuff. And I think a lot of those women, they'll marry right away because they're like, you know why? I think that women today, like when they're raised in like Midwestern or small towns and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, this is life. I'm going to be a farmer's wife, or
Yeah,
I'm going to be a
right.
factory's wife. And they're like, my husband's in my yearbook.
That's all they, yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it.
And then they get married, and
Happily ever after.
I see women that are like 20 with like 6 kids. I'm like, what the?
How the hell did that happen? Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, maybe not that's extreme, but like a lot of kids, very young, and she's just baking, and that's her life, and that's her normalcy. And I think that population is just it's small, and I don't think it's so much in the coastal areas like Vegas, California, New York, Miami.
There you go.
You're not finding those kinds of women like that.
Wow. Okay. Very good. I've got 2 more questions, and then we'll cut you loose so you can hit the gym.
Okay.
Luke Red Pill Perry with the $10 super chat says, question for the guest. He says, when you were a dancer, did you get upset when the guys accidentally finished? Then he adds with a $5 super chat during a dance. I don't know what that means.
Oh my gosh, that's weird.
Do guys actually do guys actually like cream their pants during a lap dance?
I think so. It's very rare. I think I've had that happen like once.
Okay, I was gonna say I can't.
It's very rare. I think most of the time, guys have enough control and couth to not do that.
Yeah, you know? I could not ejaculate without some sort of penile stimulation.
Like, be like walking around like all night like that, like I don't know. So no, that didn't. I mean, I'm sure, does it happen? Yeah, I remember it maybe happening once. I think the guy was younger.
Okay,
okay,
well, that makes sense.
But I don't think that's happening on the regular.
Okay, very good. Last question, and then we'll get you out of here. You'd been in the industry for a while, right? And a lot of guys like to ask, a lot of podcasters like to ask this question: if you could go back in time and advise yourself. Dude, no girl wants to be in the sex industry. No girl wants to be in the sex trade. So here's my regret question for you. During your time in the industry, what do you wish you would have done or didn't do while in the industry to improve your experience in the industry, to make it just a little bit better? What do you regret doing or not doing in the industry that could have made your life better while in the industry?
Dude, just having a pimp, I'd be a millionaire right now.
Okay.
I made so much money. So much money, and I didn't have anything. When I left him, I had nothing, and that's why I stayed with him so long.
Yeah,
I was like, if I stay with him, maybe the money will come back, or the investments, or all the lies he was feeding me, would come back.
Right.
But that's a, catch-22, because I was just looking for love.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
So that's it. I didn't really do anything like. Again, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, I didn't drink, so it wasn't like I was doing anything destructive.
You weren't strung out, yeah.
No, I just was looking for love.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. And of course, you certainly can't find love in a pimp. I mean, you can certainly find love in a pimp, it'd just be a different kind of love if you know.
That's not real love.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Janelle, so let me quickly. So I'm gonna put your book on the book up on the screen. So, so it's so in the book, your bullet points here: overcoming sexual shame and trauma, unlocking your full orgasmic potential, understanding the divine masculine and feminine energies, mastering sexual polarity for electrifying chemistry. Communicating openly about boundaries and desires, and cultivating deep emotional, spiritual connection. Why is that important for couples in a sexual relationship?
The last one?
Yes. The last one. I think cultivating deep emotional spiritual connection, I think that is sort of a culmination of all of the ones.
Yes. So it's so important because everyone says I'm a sex coach, but I'm really an intimacy coach, because intimacy isn't sex.
No.
Sex is intimacy.
That's right.
Because I can create a very intimate moment with you right now.
Sure.
If I took you through some exercises and you'd be like, whoa, like I feel really close to you. I feel connected in a way that's kind of scary, but then I'm sure in your past life, you've had sex with someone and it wasn't intimate at all.
No, of course not. That's the way it is most of the time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was nothing more than just doing a deed. And so we have this misconception that intimacy is sex and sex is intimacy.
Sure.
They're not. You can be extremely intimate with someone with your clothes on. You can have sex with someone and be in another freaking world.
Right.
Like in regards to what's going on.
Okay.
So the reason why it's so important to cultivate that intimacy is because when you get, it's like, I guess this is what I'm addicted to, is like when you get someone, a man, in my case, I'll speak for me. When I have a man who's like fully present, he doesn't move, he doesn't change, he's with me, He doesn't leave. He doesn't think of something else. He's not doing something else. He's just with me.
Okay. Okay.
And at that same time, I am giving him that same energy where I'm just vulnerable. I'm really showing who I am. I'm letting him see all of me, the parts that aren't so great, right?
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about my son. I'm not thinking about the gym and the Thai massage. Like, I'm with him, right? When you have that kind of connection with two people, the vulnerability, the surrender, the presence, the connection, the authenticity, and you have that, it's so addictive because people are so fake today.
Yes.
Everything you see is what they want you to see. It's not really who they are. It's not really their life. So when you sit with someone in their deepest, darkest hour, but you also sit with them in their greatest joy, and you also sit with them in their greatest pain and their greatest pleasure, that fosters such connection and intimacy that you just want that energy. I call it the ultimate union in my book. Again. Okay. And you can have sex with anyone and it can get old. But if you have that union, that connection with the sex, you'll go back again and again.
How about that? I've never even, sex has always just been an act to me. I don't know. I think the first time I think the first few girls I've had sex with, there might've been some intimacy, but after that you get red pilled and you're just like, all right, fuck these.
You're like, all right, this is it.
Yeah. That's a wrap.
So I wanted to bring something up that I was like, I want to do these, and maybe I should talk to you about like us doing them together. But I watch every dating show there is.
Right.
I do.
Yes.
I do, partially for entertainment, partially because I want to see what's going on, the trends, what's happening, the mindset of everyone.
Yes.
Right. And I'm like, God, I want to freaking.
That's my niche. Like that's what I do.
Okay, so you have to have me on for some of these.
Oh, dude, I do them. I'm actually breaking down the last part of episode 10 of Love is Blind right after this on Rumble. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like this girl, the freaking Ramses and the Ramses, the black guy, like the little braid.
Yeah, I gotcha.
The law student,
yes,
right? The girl. He's like saying basically in the nicest way possible, like, are you going to always not have sex with me and not be intimate with me? And she comes undone.
Unbelievable.
About, I can't believe that you would ask. And he's like, well, forever is a long time. Like, I just want to know, like you're talking about Ramses and Marissa. That's who you're talking about, because it's funny. We were just talking about this yesterday. She dug her foot in the sand. She's like, I don't want to be on birth control. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to use a condom. Yeah. And he's like, wait a minute. What the fuck are we going to, like, dude, like, you're my fiance. We're going to be married. And by the way, no spoilers, because we haven't gotten that far yet. Okay. But yeah, like, it is an absolute travesty when you require your husband to use a condom. No, fuck that. Yeah, and the fact that she nailed him to the cross for simply saying, like, hey, is it going to always be this way? Because she was turning him down for sex and she didn't want to be touched.
Well, that was because she was on her period. But then she decided to say, well, if I caught cancer, whoa, wait. Obviously, if you have cancer, I don't expect you to have sex with me. But what she was using that as a shield to say, guess what? I reserve the right, and listen, she reserves the right to withhold sex for whatever reason she wants. But on the other side of the token, men reserve the right to withhold to withhold their commitment because of the alienation of affection.
Correct. And that was my point. I felt like I know why it was her period, but the fact that she was making him feel bad for asking, like, hey, is this like, I need to know, because if you're okay with not being affectionate, not being intimate, then this is a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And he was an animal. You can tell by his energy. He wasn't trying to force her to have sex.
No, of course not.
And let's be real. For some women, being on their period is very intense. If you're me and you're lucky, you know how to cure all your symptoms, then you don't have them.
Sure.
But the thing is, I was so like unhappy about that, because I felt like a huge setback for other men who were trying to have these hard conversations, adult conversations, if you will, now just learned how they're going to be met, perhaps, because it was like he was in the wrong for even inquiring.
Right.
Inquiring, are you going to be not letting me touch you. We're affectionists. Is this going to be something I'm going to have to deal with for all eternity?
Right.
Because if that's the case, I don't. And then it was almost like she was trying to make him an animal because he has
sexual desires. Right.
So, I was so angry.
My God, can you believe that woman's mother?
Bro, she is a man. She's not a woman. Marissa doesn't like her mom. She doesn't like her mom at all. Listen, I love my mom. I don't like her very much. I feel this woman's pain. That dude, her mother is the fucking worst. And I don't know if you noticed, the bitch has a fucking tongue bar, man. Yeah, she did.
God almighty, dude. Oh my God.
She is the definition of a scorned woman.
Oh, dude. She is a misandrist who has raised a misandrist daughter. And you want to know something? You can tell Marissa at her core is actually a pretty sweet girl. She's a very sweet girl, but because she's been steeped in this misandrist nonsense, every time he said, well, you know, when I get to heaven and it could be a she. I'm like, really with this? Like, honestly, you're going to go super feminist? You want to be married by a woman too? It's just misandrists raise misandrists. It's crazy.
I know, and she's an attorney.
Oh, God.
Higher education, the more higher
Jesus
education
Christ.
Get, the more modern.
That's right.
Feminist. And
you
I
got
didn't realize that until as I've been climbing up in that.
Yeah, man. Yep.
So yeah, there's so many things when I'm going through, I'm like, oh my God, like, how is this happening? Like, I want to say so much, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I think what I'll do is when I do, I might have you on as a sort of a guest host when I do these breakdowns, because I react to these. I react to these like this is my brand, Janelle. Okay, like this is what.
I had no idea.
Oh my God, dude! I have reacted to every Love Is Blind season, every Temptation Island season. Married at First, Love After Lockup, all of the dating shows.
Love Island was.
Oh yes, Love Island. Now Love Island, I had to click because it's just too goddamn long. It's just like
so long,
people coming in and out. I was like, yeah. Dude, what else is there? F-Boy Island. I reacted to that. Lovers and Liars. I mean, dude, I react to all of those things.
All of them.
Yeah,
okay. Some of those I don't even know, but I watched the Love Is Blind, and what's the other one?
The Ultimatum.
Yeah, that one, and then what's the other Temptation? Or no, I can't think of it. It's on
Netflix. There's Temptation Island.
The other big one on Netflix, with Nick Lachey and
that's Love Is Blind.
Love Is Blind.
Yep.
Love Island, Love Is Blind, and then don't they do one more? Oh yeah, the Ultimatum.
The Ultimatum. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a fucking abject dumpster fire. Holy moly.
I know. But now
they're
making them all woke.
Yep. Now. Yes, they are, and it's funny. You can see the propaganda, even with Marissa and with Ramses and Marissa. A lot of political talk. But let someone talk about, well, I voted for Donald Trump and I would never date someone who would vote for Kamala, then they'd be fucking canceled.
They wouldn't have him on there.
Nope. Sure wouldn't
have him on there.
Sure wouldn't. And here's another thing. Do you remember Alex and Tim, the fucking fat bitch who was a goddamn slob? And Tim told her, look, man, the bitch who fell asleep while his parents were there, he said, look, bitch, I don't ever want to see you again. Like, he completely dropped her. Completely dropped her. Let's not forget this, Janelle. She assaulted him in Mexico, okay? They didn't get that on camera. We pieced it together. She put her hand over his mouth and all that. He tried to leave the situation. She kept following him. We didn't see this, but I am 99.9% sure that woman assaulted him. And the fact that he took her back was an absolute fucking travesty. That woman, dude, Alex, she is a trash individual. She's disrespectful, useless.
They made it seem, because honestly, as soon as they coupled up, I said they're not going to make it.
Oh,
no. How she's speaking to him.
Yep. Well, the nose ring stays.
Yeah, and just how she was talking to him, even in the jest, it was so like vile. I didn't like that. I know couples have banter, but to me,
that's just too much. That's just too goddamn much, dude.
And so I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But then when they had the tiff in Mexico, I didn't really know what was going on. I think I was multitasking at that time.
Yeah. They got into an argument. Here's what happened in Mexico. She was clowning him in front of everybody else at that cocktail party. He tried to defend himself, tried to be jokey. Then he tried to leave the situation. She kept following him. Finally, they get into this verbal altercation. It was characterized. She put her hand over his mouth.
Oh.
And I don't think that's what it was. I think she hit him. I think she assaulted him. That's the reason. That is the reason why he grabbed his shit and moved into another fucking room. I thought he was done after that. She managed to talk her way back into it, and then we got to the real world. She's lazy. She's a fucking slob. She's an alcoholic. And again, and here's another thing, Janelle. If you remember, she was the bitch who said, I've never been in a relationship before. I've only been in situationships. You already knew it was over.
Yeah, and the fact, but Netflix spun it to make,
of course,
to make him to be the off the handle guy, and her to be the victim. I was like, bro, they really are doing that narrative, and they did the same thing with freaking
Steven and Monica.
The blonde, they did
Steven and Monica.
The who?
Steven and Monica, the white dude and the black chick.
Oh yeah, that was kind of that was a whole thing. But the one with the blonde chick,
Hannah and Nick. No spoilers. No spoilers. No spoilers.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
Cannot stand her.
She is unbelievable.
Unattractive.
Oh my God.
She treats him like he's a child.
Yep.
The guy comes from a good family. Listen, I already told my son, here's the deal. As long as you're in school, as long as you're playing basketball, as long as you're working, you live with fucking me.
That's it.
Why the fuck would I want him living anywhere else? Why? I say, yeah, he'll pay me a little bit of money, of course.
Sure.
But why would I want him living? The fact that guy has a great family, has a great relationship with his parents, is like, obviously he's trying to get his hustle on. He's a realtor. He's trying. And who cares if his parents pay for his stuff? Why not? I mean, at some point, yeah, he's going to have to bite the bullet.
Sure.
But let him get his shit going. He obviously just lost his dream job, which was being an NFL
Which is being the NFL. There you go. Yep.
He's trying right now to get into real estate, which everyone knows that is a hard.
It's hard to break through. Yeah.
Especially right now with all the interest rates being. And this woman was treating him.
She berates him all the time. And she does it under the guise of joking around, because when he claps back, now all of a sudden he's being mean. And did you notice that even her brother was like, yeah, she's kind of a fucking bitch.
She's kind of a bitch. And then the fact that he feels, you can tell he's scared to talk to her. And the whole thing, even in Mexico, with that older
the ducks,
woman,
the ducks.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, why not let him? They say the couples who last the longest are the ones that are playful.
That's right.
They're playful and have fun, energy.
But she was like, "No, I'm not going to do that with you because you're going to give me the ick." She didn't give a shit until another bitch decided to race him on the ducks. Typical modern woman bullshit.
And the fact is, this woman was like an older woman who was just like obviously annihilated. Who cares? Like, let him. Like, it's not like she was some 10, like that was like, hey.
And it's not like and Nick wanted her to go. He's like, come on, race this. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm above that. Dude,
oh my
she's
gosh,
such a fucking bitch.
I cannot stand her. She bothers me so bad. And this is a perfect example of a woman who is doing well. She's like a pharmaceutical sales rep.
Yeah, right.
Something, making a ton of money, and then just taking this poor guy's self-esteem down as if he doesn't need it from everything, losing his dream job, and
unbelievable.
He knows he's not. And I know what that's like for athletes when they get hurt or lose a game.
Yeah, man.
A low of low.
Yes. And it's almost, and she treats him like he's like her pet project. I'm going to teach you and show you how to be a man. Now, it does not help that Nick's parents don't have the right dynamic to take care of him. Clearly, Nick has been coddled. He's been pampered. That's why he's 28 and lives with his mom. That doesn't make him a bad guy, and that does not give Hannah the right to treat him the way she's treated him.
No, you could come in and be really feminine and just be like, hey,
Here, let me show you how to, look, let me teach you about stocks, right?
Yeah, or if we're going to live with mom and dad and we're going to save all the money and buy our dream home.
That's what Devin said. She's like, no, the purpose is it's paying your own bills. Nah, bitch. Nah. No, yeah,
that's
she's
exactly
crazy.
What I was said. Yeah, and your mom and dad are great. We get along as long as we have a separate interest. We have our date nights. Hey, let's stack some cash, baby. I would do it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I cannot wait. But I got to tell you, man, very few men actually get clear W's on these shows. Tim got the W because of the way he just ethered Alex. He said, dude, I don't even see you as my wife anymore. And I can honestly say, I don't ever want to see you again. Fuck you, I'm out. That was the ultimate mic drop. Then, of course, dude, don't even get me started on Monica. Monica deserved everything she got.
She is a total B.
Bitch.
so like I don't like. Maybe it was not tasteful what he did, but I honestly see why.
The reason why he did it is because of the way she treated him. He told her, "Hey, look, I'm a sexual guy," and she's to complain, "Oh, you know, I don't want to get poked in the ass in the bed." Like, what the fuck? You got a guy who's fucking hot for you. Deal with it.
And then she did it, and then here's what's happening. Here's the theme, that these girls will hook up with him a time or two in Mexico and make him think it's all good, and then when they get back to the real life, they withhold it.
There you go.
The men get confused because they're like, wait a minute, men are not very smart sometimes, y'all. Sorry.
We're not. We're not.
But then they're like, wait a minute, we were just having great sex. Everything was great.
What happened?
Like, what happened? And then they start freaking out because they're like, they can't think straight because they're not getting their needs met.
Right.
But then they're also like, what do I do to fix this?
Wow.
And if the woman just shuts down like they do and just like, well, I need to feel comfortable again or this and that, it's like, you're punishing them. And then of course, maybe again, it was not as couth, like he shouldn't have gone there, but like he's going to.
I understand why he did. I understand why he did.
I do too. And then she tried to turn around and be like, I was so betrayed.
It's like evil fucking bitch. And it became very clear very early why Monica is 36 and single. I don't know if you picked up on this, Janelle. Monica is not very mature at all. Like, she still thinks she's fucking 16. Like, she's still, and here's the thing, Monica's beautiful. She hasn't hit the wall yet. She's one of the lucky few who's in her mid-30s who hasn't hit the wall.
Oh, yeah, she's a rare one. She's a rare one.
She is. But dude, there's no way. She is done. She's done. She's never getting married. Alex is never getting married. Like, this show, Love is Blind, really, it's so much more beneficial to the guys than it is for the girls.
It really is. It really is. No, I mean, it's just like, but the theme seemed to be that these women, these masculine women who are successful in life, kind of clowning on these guys who are just trying to get their...
Just trying to make it, man.
Just regular good guys, regular good, like Southern, kind of like that Southern man who's just like that. That's what I thought of with Tim. Is it Tim?
Tim and Alex, Nick and Hannah.
Yeah, no, the one with the black chick that was like kind of the one.
Oh, Tim, who told her off? Yeah, the fucking fat slut, Alex. Yeah, it was Tim.
Yeah, and the guy that was like the electrician. What's his name?
Oh, Steven.
Yeah, Steven's like Southern. He reminds me of like a guy from like the South, like from Texas.
Yeah.
Good old country boy, just like
he was a little. And see, this is the thing. Steven he's the male embodiment of what men have become. He pandered to her. It was so cringe. I'm like, Steven, brah. Like, she's like, oh my God. It was.
It's sad. I think it's just because he was like, like this is like maybe I could have a wife and she's hot and she's smart and she makes more money, and he's probably just,
he just didn't know. He just didn't know.
He was going hard.
Comment in the chat says, Alex is too tired to get married. She's taking her nap.
She goes, and notice she's overweight.
Dude, she's
overweight.
Listen, she is fat and lazy. She's vapid. She has no redeemable qualities. This man went to the grocery store early in the morning, got all of these groceries, he grilled a meal for the entire family. He had to break the news to her father that, hey, listen, we're getting married. Like, she didn't go in and take the bullet. Hey, Dad, by the way, we're getting married. No, she left that up to him. Then she made that nigga do the dishes. And he still didn't drop her. Then finally, his parents are there. They drove 10 hours. She falls asleep. Fam, that's it. She fell asleep. She fell asleep. And he was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I've seen enough. I felt enough.
They didn't even, they didn't say anything. And notice they didn't bring up the Monica and that whole situation.
Nope.
Steven, he was not at the reunion at all.
Well, we'll get to that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you. I didn't expect him to be there because we're actually going to be reacting to the reunion tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll coordinate with you to do sort of like a a Love is Blind post-op sort of thing. I'll have the bullet points and we'll talk about every one of them because
that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun because I think getting a female perspective will be.
Okay, I've been dying to do this on so many of them. I'm like,
oh my God! Oh, you have come to the right place.
Go back and do the top the recap all the seasons of the main things that we were deplorable from the women.
We have a hall of shame for women.
Okay.
Monica is in the Hall of Shame. Alex is in the Hall of Shame.
Yes.
Zenab is in the Hall of Fame. Oh my God. Do you remember the Zenab Cole thing where she remember the cutie story? Literally lied about this man. Lied about Cole. And then they showed Zenab is so far gone, she turned off her comments. Alex has deleted all negative comments. Monica's dumbass is actually in there arguing with people.
Of
Janelle
course she is. What is her line of work? I forget. Something like she's like a speaks for the house or some kind of, isn't she in politics or something?
I don't, you know what? It doesn't matter. She's a fucking bitch and she ain't never getting married.
The Asian chick is super fucking masculine too.
Oh yeah, she is. No, don't say anything about that because I think we're about to find out a lot more about her as well. Dr. B84 says Alex is the champion of the Hall of Shame. She might be. She is quite possibly the worst woman ever. Oh my God. Yeah, no, you mean the fat chick? the fat black? Yeah. We don't mince our words here.
But even Hannah, okay, like it's okay.
Hannah's up there too.
She's like overweight, but she's not like full on, like she's just out of shape.
No, she's fat. Really. No, she's fat. She's fat.
But the other chick, she's obese.
She is absolutely obese. Absolutely obese.
She has no energy.
Nope. Of course she doesn't. She drinks and she drinks too much and she eats all the time. This is what happens. This is what happens.
This is what happens. Okay, well, I can't wait to do this with you.
Yes,
this is gonna be fun.
She is Janelle Gordon. It looks like we have recruited someone else to help us with these dating show breakdowns. Janelle, tell the people where to find you.
Yeah, on YouTube, Janelle Gordon, and you can find me on Instagram, Shakti Mastery, and those are the really important places to find me. Everywhere else is
perfect.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I am very much looking forward to having you on. Again, in the not too distant future. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for making time for us today.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'll see you again. And buy the book. Get the Kindle.
Yes, get the book.
The hard copy launches next week, and I'll see you guys then.
Perfect. Take care, guys. All right, so that is going to be that. So what is going to happen now, gentlemen? What is going to happen now? Oh shit. Okay. What is going to happen now is I am going to say goodbye to my Facebook audience. I'm gonna take a 3-minute potty break because I gotta piss like a Nigerian racehorse. And when I come back, we will finish reacting to episode. What are we on? Episode. Yeah, we're gonna finish reacting to episode 10 of Love Is Blind. That's right. Let's get ready to rumble. We got Pro Special in the house, so everybody get on over. Everybody get on over to Rumble, and we can finish this up. And I will see you guys in a little bit.